Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening to this. This is your boy Sudden Death from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Like I said, my name is Sutton Death from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening. Thank you for listening. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang and you're not watching this live stream right now, because I am live currently at 9 a.m. in the morning. But if you're not watching the live and you're part of the replay gang, shout out to you. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to talk about a few things in here. Going to make this kind of a short live. I'm not going to stay on here too long because, as you guys know, Alex and I will be live tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk all about this Ravens versus Steelers matchup coming up on Saturday, and also giving our predictions for the entire Super Wild Card weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming out later today. Dropped a video yesterday as well. If you have not already checked that out, make sure you go and check that out. It's about the biggest key to success for the Ravens playoff campaign in 2025. That is going to be the topic of that video. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. I thought it was a very interesting topic. But again, what is going on, guys? Appreciate y'all for coming through. If you are in here, make sure you leave a comment in the live chat. I would love to see who's here bright and early in the morning, like it is. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. If you're watching on X, hello. Thank y'all for joining me on X. Make sure you pop over to YouTube maybe and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. But I appreciate you for following me on X. If you don't follow me on X, then follow me at Sudden Death, obviously. Okay. So this one, I kind of want to do a little bit of a little rapid fire topics, right? Obviously, I have not reacted to the newest episode of HBO Hard Knocks. I want to say it's episode 5 or 6. I can't quite remember right now. I want to say it's six, episode 6. But listen, here's the thing. It seems like here's my instant reaction to the Hard Knocks episode, right? It seems like this Ravens team, like winning cures a whole lot. Let me just say that up front. Winning cures a ton in this league. And what I'll say is that there's been a total 180 in terms of the vibes in the locker room or just in the castle in general from when this Hard Knock series started. It really is. I mean, the players seem more engaged. Harbaugh seems more locked in than ever. And, let me just stick with Harbaugh for just a second here. Me personally, I was kind of killing him maybe like almost a month ago when things weren't going so well. And it really seemed like the players weren't really taking heed to his message as much as they should have been. And it really didn't seem like he was communicating that well with his guys. It didn't seem like they were locked into what he was saying. But now I think kind of sensing the moment, right? Sensing the moment that like, hey, like we are primed and poised to make another run. This guy seems fired up now. He's he's talking with more of like a bravado to him. You know what I mean? He's getting louder. I think we got the first swear word from John Harbaugh. And in that episode of Hard Knocks, you rarely ever see John get fired up like he did. So that was kind of cool to see. I'm not gonna lie. I think we need all of that energy going full steam ahead, full speed ahead into the postseason. But let me see who's in here. E Money, what's going on? E Money says, "Good morning. I cannot wait for the game. Let's go Ravens." Good morning, E Money. Thank you for coming through. I can't wait either, man. These, I mean, we've been playing it. We've been playing primetime games for what it feels like the past month. And that actually might just be true, like just 100% factual. Um, well, not well, because no, the Giants game, but yeah, you guys get the point. We've been playing on prime time a lot lately, and now, of course, in the playoffs, every game is prime time, and I'm excited to play on Saturday. I'm kind of getting used to these Saturday games. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting used to these Saturday games. So hopefully, the Ravens go out there and handle business against the Steelers as they are expected to. But of course, in these divisional rivalries, you can never be too confident, right, going into them. It doesn't matter about the records. You can toss the records out the window, toss the talent out the window, toss the coaching out of the window. When these two teams play each other, Ravens versus Steelers, it's going to be a dogfight regardless. But again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of Ravens versus Steelers on this coming Saturday because again, Alex and I will be live tonight to talk all about that in depth. Right, we're going to talk all about that in depth tonight. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. Sam, good morning. What's going on, Sam? Appreciate you for coming through. Chike says, "What's your early score prediction for Saturday?" Hey man, Chike, you got to stay tuned. Tonight, I'm going to give my score prediction. I'm going to give my score prediction tonight on the show with Alex. Um, Let me see. E Money says Eric DeCosta really loves his team. He's always in the locker room praying with them. Yeah, I mean EDC. He's one of those active GMs, right? I see him on the sideline a lot. Of course, in the locker rooms after the game, praying and whatnot. He's locked in with his team. Eric DeCosta is. I mean, I can tell you that straight up. You know, I know he loves his team. I know he takes a lot of pride in what he's put into this team. He's been with the organization for what, decades now. He predates, of course, while Ozzy was GM, he was pretty much under Ozzy's wing, excuse me, for a long, long time, and finally got that call up. So big shout out to him. But again, man, looking at the Hard Knocks episode and the Ravens Browns game specifically, my biggest takeaways from that, Derrick Henry. Again, Derrick Henry, and I mentioned this on the last episode of the live show with Alex. I said that Derrick Henry actually showed more emotion in that game than he ever has before with the Ravens. It's crazy. In one way that you can tell is after that, I think it was the second touchdown rush, he starts dancing in the end zone. And if you remember correctly, back earlier in the season, like way earlier in the regular season, somebody had asked Derrick Henry after he scored a touchdown. One of his teammates, they asked him, they said, "Hey, why don't you dance? Like, why don't you hit a little dance once you get in the end zone?" And Derrick Henry said, "I don't dance, bro. Like all this time, like I used to, but now I'm 30 plus. I'm not dancing, bro. I'm just out here to do my job." And what you saw in that Browns game was him really, really happy, right? Really happy, and I think a happy Henry is a dangerous Henry. A happy Henry is a dangerous Derek. I don't know. Let me just put it like that. That's kind of phony, but you guys get the point. I feel like the vibes are really, really high with that guy, and I feel like he's gonna want to take that and ride the Lightning into the playoffs. I think that he's going to be our workhorse in these playoffs. And that's what we literally brought him in for, Harbaugh said earlier this year that Derrick Henry was not going to be a 25, 30 carry a game guy. But in the playoffs, if he's healthy, which he is, you know, he's going to get the football probably around that many times, 25, 30 times. So again, what I saw in the Hard Knocks episode in terms of the Ravens and the Browns game, uh it looked good. It looked really, really good. Lamar Jackson's vibes were high. The whole team, the whole entire team. Then there was that snippet, of course, that I know everybody's seen is going around on the internet right now, where Roger Rosengarten walks up to Miles Garrett, and Roger Rosengarten he says, "Hey, I know I'm a nobody, but like, you think after the game I can get your jersey?" And Miles Garrett says to him, "Man, you're in the league, bro. Your team is winning games. Y'all are good. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever say you're a nobody. Like you're somebody, basically." And he told him he got him with the jersey. So that was a really cool moment to see between Roger Rosengarten, who of course rookie right tackle, still trying to kind of earn his wings, earn his stripes rather in the NFL, and for Miles Garrett to kind of give him his props like that, that was pretty awesome to see. So, yeah, and that was kind of like nationally circling around. Like a lot of media outlets were posting that little clip. So a lot of people like that little precious moment there between Miles Garrett and Roger Rosengarten. Speaking of Miles Garrett, if the Browns were to move off of Miles Garrett and he comes to Baltimore, listen, man, listen, that would be insane. What does he got? Four straight seasons or something like that with 14 plus sacks, I want to say, Miles Garrett. Absolutely insane. I just, man, if Eric DeCosta can make that happen, if we can get a premier pass rusher, like a legit game record, and don't get me wrong, the Ravens led the league in sacks last season. They were second in sacks this season, right? Guys like Adafe always stepped up. Guys like Kyle Van Noy stepped up. You know what I mean? So in spots, guys like Tavius Robinson even stepped up. But to have like a legit game record on that side of the football, it would really just kind of like solidify the Ravens talent pool on that roster. I feel like they have everything. They got the quarterback, they got the wide receivers, they got the tight ends. The offensive line is kind of coming together. They got some good pieces on the offensive line. Still some work to do there. The defensive line is really good too. But edge rush is something that can be on and off a little bit inconsistent, you know. And I don't want to see that inconsistency in these playoffs. Absolutely not. But it certainly is possible. I think that a Miles Garrett would be that would be just invaluable on this team. Let me see. We all are saying here. Um, Chike says, which team has a better chance to upset Washington or Denver? That's a great question. That's a great question. And we're going to go through our bracket tonight and, make our predictions. But a better chance to upset, I would probably go Washington. I would go Washington. It's close because I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for the Bills to beat Denver either. Trust me, I just do not. You don't have the cold weather advantage against the Colorado team. The Broncos have a great offensive line. They have a hot rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You got guys like Nick Benito on that defense who are going to be flying all over the place. Their DBs are good. Josh Allen is literally going to have to be Superman to win that game. Now, do I think he makes just one more play, two more plays than Bo Nix in that Broncos offense does to win the game? Yes. Do I think his defense forces Bo Nix, a young Bo Nix, to make a mistake, even though he's not that young for a rookie, of course. We all know that. But yeah, I do. I think the Bills defense leads the league in turnovers forced. So I think that they continue that trend. And like I said in another episode, turnovers come at a premium in these playoffs, right? So I think that they'll turn the ball over, the Broncos, that is, and that'll put the Bills in prime position to win, maybe by like a score or something. But Washington, on the other hand, I probably have to go. I would because they're a lot closer in terms of competition. I would say to the Bucks. So I would go Washington has a better chance to upset, but do not be surprised if the Broncos pull it off. Black Daniels in the house. What's going on, Black Daniels? He says burnt toast and coffee time with Sutton. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am back. I am back. I am back on this beautiful Thursday morning. DDSQ in the house. What's going on, DDSQ? Good morning. Says, what's good? Ravens seem locked in. Starting with the Steelers helps the journey to end all of the narratives. And this is absolutely true, right? I talked about this, I think, in the last episode of the show. In order to kind of squash these narratives, we got to go through this gauntlet, man. And whether that means we play the Steelers, Bills, then Chiefs, I think that that's the best way to go about it. Silence all the doubters. I want no stone to be left unturned. When it's all said and done, I don't want anybody saying, oh, the Ravens had a cakewalk. They had a favorable run to the Super Bowl. No, I mean, we started wild card round, right? We didn't get first seed this year, so we didn't get to skip wild card round. It's not just one divisional win and then AFC championship game. No, we got to get through our division rival first, Steelers. Most likely after that, maybe like the Bills, right? Most likely after that, the Chiefs, and then whoever comes out of the NFC. I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest with you. Any other way. Don Royal in the house. What's going on, Don? Says Brandon Stevens is a major concern. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Talk more about that tonight. Beta, death to Beta. What's going on, Beta? Says up early in the morning with it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to grind. Got to get after it. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let me get into a couple other things. So Hard Knocks again. It really seems like there's been a full 180 from the start of the series in terms of like the Ravens coverage and also the energy in the Ravens organization as well. It's been a complete change. Been a complete change, and I could not be happier about that. In terms of the other teams, the Steelers, man, I still love Mike T. I still think he's the star of the show. I really do. But, the Steelers team, I think they might need to start Justin Fields, man. I think that Russell Wilson is limiting them a little bit. And, you know, if there's one thing that you can't do as a veteran quarterback who's been entrusted by, a really, really good team to kind of come in and right the ship and take them to the promised land, like you've done before with another team, you can't make silly rookie stupid mistakes. You just can't. You just can't. Like he did at the end of the game where he essentially burned a lot of clock, letting that clock run out, and they end up losing to the Bengals. Can't have that. I think that Justin Fields if they are smart, and Mike Tomlin did say this, he said he was open to, getting Justin Fields in the game, kind of working him in. And at the worst, that's going to force the Ravens to prepare a little bit more and a little bit differently, just in case Justin Fields does get on the field. So, you know, um, and then also the Bengals in the Hard Knocks episode kind of getting their hopes and dreams crushed watching on Sunday as the Broncos blew out the Chiefs and they needed the Chiefs to beat the Broncos. They needed the Chiefs backups to beat the Broncos. That was kind of fun to watch, to be honest with you. But yeah, moving on from Hard Knocks though. Another thing. So the NFL Players Association, and I really wanted to bring this up. I really wanted to bring this up, right? The NFL Players Association, they actually dropped their all pro list from this year, from this regular season. And it was very, very interesting to me because if you look here, you can see who they chose at quarterback. They chose Baltimore's quarterback, Lamar Jackson, as first team all pro quarterback for 2024-2025 NFL season. And before I get into breaking down Lamar Jackson, let's just run through the rest of them. So running back, Saquon Barkley was chosen. I think that's well deserved. Fullback, Kyle Juszczyk from San Francisco, former friend. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase, well deserved. Justin Jefferson, well deserved. Tight end, Brock Bowers. Left tackle, Tristan Wirfs. Left guard, Joe Tooney. Center, Creed Humphrey. Right guard, Chris Lindstrom from Atlanta. And the right tackle, Penei Sewell from Detroit. Sticking with the offensive players, and again, going back to Lamar Jackson, this kind of brings back up the whole MVP discussion. I know it does. And it's just so funny. It's just so funny to me how how you can have hmm, how do I put this? It's just so funny to me how the best football players in the world came together and decided, hey, you know who the best quarterback football player is in this league? It's Lamar Jackson. That's what they all agree. I mean, the people who are literally on the field with the likes of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, all these guys, right? They all came to an agreement, and maybe not all of them, but like the majority came to an agreement that Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback on the planet. Yet, the Associated Press, which their list is quoted and cited way more than the NFLPA's list because the NFLPA has only been putting out all pro rosters since 2022. Right, this is only their third year doing it, and the reason why they started doing it is because they didn't like all the people in the Associated Press. And the Associated Press, if you don't know, is literally just the media members, the national media members around the league. Right, um, the player said, you know what, we don't think that is fair or right or just for you guys who sit behind the desk and talk about the game to hold more merit, your word to hold more merit on who's a better football player than ours. And that's why they started doing their own. And, I'm not a part of the Associated Press. Of course, I'm not in the NFL either. I am just your favorite fanalist, Sutton Def. You can follow me at Sutton Def, like you see down below. But from the outside looking in, I'm looking at this like, yeah, this makes the Associated Press look crazy because we know who's going to win MVP. It's probably going to be Josh Allen. Vegas knows it. The media's been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. How they're just trying to spin every narrative they can to justify giving it to Josh Allen. So for the NFL players to actually say like, oh no, it's actually Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback. It really makes the Associated Press look foolish to me. To me, it does. So that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to kind of point that out. I'm gonna leave that one there. I'm gonna leave that one there. Okay. Another thing, right? So just touching on this really quickly. Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers has not practiced all week. Today is Thursday. Um, so I do fully expect for us to get a designation today. I expect for us to have a designation either today or tomorrow, but I'm kind of banking on today. If he doesn't practice today, I think that there is a 90% chance he does not play. Okay. There's a 90% chance that he does not play. Uh, Harbaugh said earlier this week, it's not a season ending injury or I word, I'm sorry, Jinx, knock on wood. But it's something that he's day to day with. And so far, he hasn't practiced any day this week. And so if you didn't know, now you know. I don't think he's going to play. Um, but I do think that we should get a designation, a game day designation today, especially considering that we play on Saturday. So everything's moved back a day. I think that they'll probably come out. If he can't practice today and he's still feeling like, pretty bad on that knee, they're just gonna shut him down. They're gonna shut him down. And I don't mind that. Zay Flowers is a young guy who, if you trot him out there at 40, 50% half speed, he's not going to be the same Zay Flowers that we're accustomed to seeing, right? Zay Flowers relies heavily on his knees, on that knee that he banged up to make those cuts, those jukes, to get open so fast in his route running, and of course his downfield acceleration. So a banged up Zay Flowers really does not benefit the Ravens in the way that I feel like a lot of Ravens fans are hoping it would. Because a lot of Ravens fans are just hoping and praying that he plays, and I hope he does too at the end of the day, but I would totally understand the designation to keep him out at least for 1 week. Hopefully we can get through the Steelers and then he can be ready to go against whoever awaits in the divisional round. So let me see. Q says Zay has a sprained knee, so he'll be surprised if he plays in any game in the postseason, with the exception of the Super Bowl. Sprained knee ligaments are tricky and they take time. Yeah, and I actually, when he first got hurt, when I was watching the game live, I kind of like looked at how he got hurt, right? I was looking at the play in slow motion, just like everybody was watching on the broadcast. And I said to myself, yeah, he probably just sprained it. He probably sprained it. And I don't want to say just as in like it was something minor, but I was hoping it wasn't something major to where it was like this was going to hold him out, of course, the rest of the playoffs and then most of next season, you know? So I think that if he gets to like 60, 70%, I think that he's gonna wanna go out there and play. I mean, I'm sure he wants to get out there now, even on the bum knee and all, but of course the doctors are gonna advise him against that, and rightfully so, of course. But I just think that with him, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I do think a designation is gonna come out today. I do think a designation comes out today about that. So we will continue to we'll continue to monitor that accordingly. Let me see what else. What else? Oh yeah. Last thing I wanted to touch on before I get out of here. Like I said, I wasn't gonna go live for too long. It's already been about 20 minutes. Again, we will be live tonight for everybody. About 70 people watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for joining this episode of the show. We will be live tonight. Me and my co-host Simply AS10, breaking down the full wild card weekend. Our predictions. Of course, we're gonna deep dive into the Steelers versus Ravens game. Give our keys to victory. Give our score predictions, and our bold predictions as well. So yeah. Last thing I wanted to touch on though, Todd Monken. Todd Monken, right? Monken's been in the news recently, not for the stellar play calling that he has been handing out for the Ravens for the past year or two, but kind of because of that, other coaches around the league, other teams around the league are looking at him to be their head coach, and this is the time of year again where a lot of these offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators who've been performing really well, they start to garner interviews from these other teams, and Todd Monken is no exception. As far as I know right now, the Chicago Bears and the Jacksonville Jaguars have requested to interview Todd Monken for their head coaching position. Now, I have very mixed feelings about this. On one hand, of course, I want Todd Monken to, get his bag, get his opportunity to be a head coach in this league. And I'm sure he wants that as well. I'm sure that's what he's probably been working towards. That's probably excuse me, that's probably his end goal, right? But as a Ravens fan, your favorite fanalist, Sudden Death, fuck that, respectfully. Because it's just like, why can't the Ravens hold on to a coordinator for more than 2 years? We can never have just a coordinator who's been here for 3, 4, 5 years, right? Who's just dominating with us and only with us. Somebody always has to come and poach them. Last year, it was Mike McDonald. This year, it's going to be Todd Monken. At least that's what it's looking like. And like that just It doesn't sit right with me. And a lot of people like to bring up the Chiefs and how they've had Steve Spagnuolo for the past couple of seasons, and nobody wants to poach him for a head coaching position. But I've talked about this before. I mean, we know why teams aren't really looking for Spags to be their head coach because we've seen Spags as a head coach before with the Rams. Wasn't very good, right? Wasn't very good. So, I think that he's kind of locked in at that defensive coordinator position for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, I'm sure they love that. I'm sure they absolutely adore that, right? But for me, again, man, you start building something good, especially with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's development, I don't want to give it all the credit to Todd Monken, but he definitely evolved or graduated. Shout out to Bucky Brooks, right? Graduated Lamar Jackson to a more complex offense, a more complex scheme that has a lot better passing routes. And it's opened up things tremendously for this offense. And it's opened up Lamar's ability to throw the ball all over the field. And we're seeing that in real time. In real time. I think Todd Monken's game plan has a lot to do with Lamar Jackson winning MVP last year and then also contending for another MVP this year, getting the nod from the Players Association, right? Um, so Todd Monken has been really good for us, and I don't want to see him go. Of course, it's gonna really suck. It's gonna suck so bad, but it's looking like that might be what happens. I don't know what Todd Monken's plans are right now. I don't know if he feels like he has unfinished business here with the Ravens. I mean, this is a guy who's coming from Georgia, winning championships, right? I'm sure he wants to win a championship with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And also, I mean, Lamar Jackson is probably the most fun quarterback that he's ever coached. I can almost guarantee you that. I can almost guarantee you that Lamar Jackson is the most exciting, the easiest to game plan for, and honestly, the most fun to game plan for because you can get almost as creative as you want with a Lamar Jackson, and Lamar can handle all of that workload, all of that creativity. He can handle it all, you know. Lil Sutter says, I'm gonna be happy as hell when he leaves. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, why would you be happy that Todd Monken's gonna leave? I mean, this offense has been stellar the past couple of seasons underneath Todd Monken, running and passing. So I don't really see why you would want to let him go. Maybe let me know down below in the comment section. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna wrap this video here. We got about 90 people watching live. Hello, thank all of y'all for coming through. And listen, make sure. If you don't do anything else, you tune in tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Alex and I will be live doing our full preview of the Ravens versus Steelers game and the Super Wild Card matchup. So, again, my name is Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. You can follow me at Sutton Def. Make sure you like this video before you get out of here. Like this video, like this video, like this video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening. This is your boy Sutton Def from PRP. Stay positive, test negative, and of course, never, ever, ever forget to call God.